Hello and welcome to Team PokeMart, your one-stop shop for things that you need to stop and or shop for. And you know what's exciting, valued customers? We have a brand new monthly catalog that's gone out today, yes. And yes, I know it looks quite encyclopedically large, but that's because of the sheer amount of deals that we've had to pack within it. In fact, there's ever so many great bargains and upcoming products that I'm sure you'll want this handy-dandy subscribe bookmark, which will allow you to keep track of your own products to buy, but also keep you up to date on all of Team PokeMart's latest stock. And speaking of, today we have a particularly volatile batch of new stock to delve into, because we are going to be talking about some of our feathered antagonists, as the annual migratory flock of Spearow and Fearow have made their way into the area surrounding Team PokeMart, which is terrifying, but a large abundance of pecks, scratches, and attempted eye gougings later, I have managed to acquire several large bags of birds ready to sell directly to you, valued customers, the result of which will ideally pay for my now crippling medical costs. But I suppose it's important that you familiarize yourselves with these aggressive, aggressive is probably a bad word to say to the customers. Let's call them fiery and unique. Yes, it's important to familiarize yourself with the fiery and unique temperaments possessed by these satanic bird demons that will viciously murder you at a moment's notice. I mean, just look at those eyes. Make no mistake, all this Spearow is thinking about is all of the different ways it could end your pitiful retail existence so that it can usurp your position as local manager and start selling humans in cages as the Spearow master race rises up and takes over the world. That is what it's thinking. Make no mistake. And now here's why you should buy one. Loud and proud, Spearow the tiny bird Pokemon are small but mighty in their own right. Seen as having a brown head and tail feathers but pinkish red wings, this avian Pokemon is a force to be reckoned with for many beginning trainers. And this is because Spearow is effectively what would happen if you took a delightful, peaceful Pidgey and forced it into a back alley gang, making it fight its way to the top of the pecking order until it becomes back alley bird gang boss. However, by that point, it is no longer a Pidgey. It is now the hollow, empty shell that is a Spearow. Now, due to their gangland origin, Spearow are fairly territorial and also a bit tough to train due to their overwhelming bloodlust. However, on the plus side, unlike some other Pokemon which can be fairly hard to obtain in the wild, Spearow are relatively common on certain routes, and by certain I mean almost all of them, because these Pokemon are practically a plague on this world. However, Spearow gets its English name from the word spear, referring to its sharp beak and talons, and sparrow, a type of birdie. However, Spear Sparrow was deemed a bit too violent, and so it was softened to Spearow. The Japanese name, funnily enough, is a play on its hostile nature, being referred to as Oni Suzume. Here, Oni means demon and Suzume means sparrow, thus confirming once and for all the sheer demonic nature of this hell bird. While Spearow are excellent flyers, they also have stupidly stubby wings, and as a result, they must flap them fairly quickly to stay aloft. This also means that they cannot fly across great distances or great heights as a result. And Spearow are quite notably highly self-conscious in regards to their teeny tiny wings, and are often mocked by civilized bird society at large for their pathetic flight. I mean, to put this into some perspective, even Toucanon talk smack about Spearow behind their backs, although Toucanon certainly has its own internal issues, judging from those ghastly eyes. And seriously, what is with all the scary birds in this world? Like, the thought of being eaten alive by a vicious Sharpedo doesn't scare me half as much as the sinister mystery of exactly what this Toucanon in particular is thinking. Well, thankfully, I don't have to go anywhere near this thing until Generation 7, so you know what, Toucanon? You too. But birds of a feather flock together, and so Spearow are often in large groups, and because of this, their shortcomings in the realm of flight are mitigated by their overwhelming show of force, and thus they become much more of a threat. Often seen in warm climates and fields, they like to hunt for insects like Caterpie, although the natural predator of Spearow would be the Ekans, which is snake backwards. Meanwhile, Spearow backwards is Warrieps, which is a completely meaningless word. But with some proper training, some proper patience, and some proper medical care for yourself, after sustaining a wide array of bird-inflicted injuries, you can have your little Spearow evolve into something, significantly more scary at the nicely rounded level of 20. And so we meet Fear itself. Fearow. After evolving from Spearow, Fearow are highly more mobile and swift in regards to flight, as well as much deadlier creatures in general. Their body becomes mostly brown, but they are seen with a red coxcomb on the top of their head, and yes, I know, valued customer, coxcomb does indeed sound like a funny word, as well as quite the bizarre line of adult products. But a coxcomb, for example, is the fleshy growth on top of a bird head, like a rooster, for example. However, according to a book I like to call the dictionary, which is also funny because it has the word dick in it, but according to this book full of word things, a coxcomb is another way of referring to a jester's cap, which only further enforces the idea that Fearow is a complete and utter sick joke of nature. They almost resemble something of a vulture when looking at their neck shape, that, or a turkey, but the predatory instincts of a Fearow get a nice boost as well through their ever sharp and watchful eyes, making it very easy for them to prey on fish and insects. And as you can see, it wants you to be afraid. Be very afraid. So much so that its English name comes from fear and Spearow, and furthermore the Japanese once again follows the same type of spooky idea, with its name being Oni Drill, with Oni once again being demon and Drill meaning drill, which goes on to describe a Fearow's favorite method of ridding the world of the pesky humanic existence. Fearow's wings are large and admittedly magnificent, allowing it to easily move in the sky and across great distances unlike its previous counterpart. Fearow are known to never tire and can fly for an entire day without needing to land. It's like how I can stay up for an entire day and serve customers, just nowhere near as satisfying, because at least Fearow is able to achieve a sense of freedom. Meanwhile, I'm more like a Fearow trapped in a cage with a name tag and an apron, serving my plump Caterpie customers, all the while knowing that these customers are supposed to be my food and yet I am made to work for them. This world is truly twisted. Now, while a much less popular Pokemon companion than say a Pikachu or a Charmander, or even a Silcoon, because who even remembers that Silcoon exists? I mean, what even are you? In any case, despite its lack of popularity compared to that of almost any other Pokemon, there are indeed some notable appearances for the Spearow line in various Pokemedia. In fact, in the very first episode, Pokemon I Choose You of the anime from Gen 1, a large flock of Spearow attacked Pikachu after Ash threw a rock at a single one to weaken it, since Pikachu was ignoring his orders. A very reasonable decision from the Electric Mouse, IMO. However, Ash's foolishness caused said Spearow to call out for help, attacking Ash and Pikachu and later on severely wounding Pikachu. It took a Thunderstorm and an Insane Lightning Strike Thunderbolt combo from Pikachu to get the Spearow to subside. And this whole situation really does make clear that the whole phrase of killing two birds with one stone holds a lot less meaning in the world of Pokemon. In fact, it would be more akin to two birds killing you, regardless of whether you have a stone or not. Now, this very same Spearow from the original episode would hold a grudge over this event and eventually reappear as a Fearow, leading a large new flock in the episode Pallet Party Panic. And the ensuing battle with Ash's Pidgeotto forced it to evolve into a Pidgeot in order to stand any chance whatsoever, although the villainous Fearow is made to retreat once ganged up on by various Pidgey, Pidgeotto, and Ash's Pidgeot. And in a somehow much more notable appearance than this though, Red manages to catch Fearow on screen as well in Pokemon Origins on his journey to completing the Pokedex. So whilst he may not have used it, the great trainer Red did indeed hold a Fearow. And while there are many smaller roles for Spearow and Fearow in the various manga, a few instances do stand out, sort of. In the Electric Tale of Pikachu, Ash similarly defends Pikachu from the onslaught of attack from a group of Spearow. The difference here though is that in the manga, Ash actually manages to capture the Fearow leader. It's the first Pokemon he is able to capture himself, thus portraying him as a much more competent trainer than his anime counterpart. These demonic actions do continue though, as seen in Pokemon Adventures, where a Fearow manages to kidnap a, how do I put this? A very mutated Bill? Look, sometimes the manga gets really weird, okay? And in this case, Bill accidentally transformed himself into a talking Rattata, a very delectable target for any hungry Fearow. Some more fun facts about the Spearow line. Spearow is not the only Pokemon to have the category of the tiny bird applied to it, as it shares its labeling with Pidgey, Natu, and even Rookidee, which very much proves my entire hypothesis of there being so many generic birds in this franchise that there simply are not enough unique titles to go around. Although, if I was in charge, I would personally call Spearow the Hellbird Pokemon, Rookidee the Unimpressed Pokemon, and Natu the Confusing Aztec Bird Pokemon. Apart from the various legendaries, Fearow is one of the oldest known Pokemon in all of the world of Pokemon, and is often depicted in ancient murals, often annoying ancient retail employees. And finally, a truly useless fact, Fearow is the only known Pokemon with a base stat total of 442, which if you are intimately familiar with the games, then that may hold some semblance of sense, but if you're not, like me, a retail employee, then that number is completely meaningless. You don't know if that's high or low, good or bad, and that's why this number, 442, is useless. Well then, valued customer, whilst not the flashiest or nicest of Pokemon, you now know how to approach and catch, or better yet, purchase a Spearow. So long as you don't pull an Ash and throw a rock at it, you should be fine. And if you're not, then might I suggest becoming a Team PokeMart member, which will also grant you a 10% discount on bird-related injuries at your local Team Pokemon Center. But please do make sure to stop by Team PokeMart and say hi, which you can do in the comments below. And if you're interested in some of our other merchandise, then please do click these tantalizing links over here. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel for regular updates on our new stock. But for now, this has been Team PokeMart, and we'll see you next time.